Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Rivalz Race Chat. I don't know if you heard that or not. I can always count on you to laugh right at the most inappropriate times. How's it going today?
Good. I'm waiting for the last feature to start at Sobel, but otherwise we're good.
Oh, you're gonna go there right off the bat?
Before Alex sat down,
We have some
I
fun.
jest.
We have fun on here talking about all these issues. It was good to see Alvarez Sunday up at Sobel. I don't know if you got to shake his hand, but I did see him there. I thought it was funny today on our NASCAR call this morning on the conference call. They threw a reference out about laser finish lines, and I was like, wow, I'm surprised that they know we're fighting over that too. I was also thought it was funny that when your son Connor told us that someone came up to you at the racetrack and said, do you guys actually like each other at all? And I pissed my pants laughing about that. I thought it was funny. I look at us like brothers. We try to start every day getting along, but sometimes by dinner I had enough of your bullshit. So
yeah,
there
were people at the races, Clint, that you and I have known for 25 years. We've known these people longer than we've known each other separately. And they said, "You guys all right?" yeah, just another day. We're passionate. If we agreed on everything, this just wouldn't work. Once in a while, we push each other's buttons to the point where.
But you get me to the point that I can't hide it. Okay, normally the show must go on with us. I could get kicked in the nuts 2 seconds before, and I can get on that microphone and not have a problem. But something about you, when you piss me off, I get all flustered and don't know what to say. But
does that make you a snowflake? Like when you can't handle the challenges set forth? Is that the term for that?
Well, you've known me 25 years. Would you call me a snowflake? Would you classify me? Okay, let me ask you another question. Were you standing by on Saturday night when I fired off a very vibrant text back to someone who was lipping me off around 11:30?
Yeah, you're a keyboard warrior.
Oh, okay. Let's bring on Alex right now.
Let's do it. Alex Nagy. And I'm not even sure of Alex's official title. Alex, will you share with us your official title so I don't screw it up?
I don't think anybody knows. No, Director of Motorsports.
For APC?
Yeah, for Canusa APC.
Okay, awesome. Welcome to the show, Alex. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
The most relevant thing today is probably the events that went on up at Sobel, and there were some confusing aspects to it. So I figured, why not go directly to the top of the heap and bring you on, and we can go through some of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Where do you want to start?
Clint, do you have any suggestions on where to start?
No, Alex, obviously we were all surprised when the race got what I've been saying, curfewed out.
Yeah, and some people are frustrated, fans, etc. But listen, I don't think there's a racetrack in Ontario that doesn't have a curfew. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know about this weekend, but Delaware, Flamborough, Chicasa, it's just unfortunately part of the game. And it's really unfortunate. I see other people, I laugh, but I should have started the race at 7. I'd have started practice before 4, blah, blah, blah. But to be honest, Sobel Speedway has done a nice job, made some inroads with council up there. The ownership has always battled that. You could talk to Joe Chisholm from Race Time Radio. He battled it. He knows it's been a constant battle for those folks. And, they can't go on the racetrack till 4 o'clock. They're in a little box and they have to be done by 11. The problem there is that I don't think it's so much the fine. It's if they go much past curfew, if they start pushing their limits, that council is going to have, not council, the neighbors are going to have something in their arsenal to go to council and start complaining again. So they're in a bad spot. Race started at 9:04, went green. Plenty of time for those that didn't think there was enough time. The fact that we had 3 oil downs was very unfortunate. Doesn't happen very often. A lot of work, a lot of time to clean those up. And, the 150 lap race at Sunset took an hour and 9 minutes. The 2 previous 100 lap races at Sauble were just under an hour. Surely we can race 50 more laps in a break in, 75 more laps or 50 more laps in a break in another hour. So it was just circumstances. It got to the point where ownership had to make a call, and they were super, super sorry. But I told them it's frustrating. I get it, but I respect your decision.
And I'll tell you, it was the right decision for them because of the politics involved. Because all the neighbors have to do is take a video or a sound clip that's time stamped on their phone in this winter that ruins things.
Right.
So someone's got to make unfortunate decisions, and that was a series of unfortunate events.
Yeah,
There's been a lot of...
I'm sorry, Adam. I was just going to say, there's 8 laps left. An unfortunate incident, another big oil down, and that's what buried us. I thought, I was just had my fingers crossed, and with all that time doing the cleanup, ownership, reassessed and said we just can't go now. It's been too long. So, like I say, I respect it. I respect their decision. We can't afford to lose any more racetracks in this province or country.
No, for sure. And Alvers, I'm sorry I didn't meet you on the weekend, Alvers. I think your numbers are off there from what I had heard. But in reality, Alex, I have never seen a path of oil around a racetrack that was 4 feet wide. Like I've never.
It's crazy.
You probably saved $100,000 in bent race cars. Right? Not that you would have wanted to call the race at that point, but
Right.
had it gone back, the amount of time it would take to properly clean that surface would have been a disaster.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
I want to.
And I was just going to
Sorry, go
say,
ahead.
and I'm sure that went into the decision making process with ownership. And listen, you're right. They made the right call. It was unfortunate for our fans, for our drivers, for our teams, for sponsors. I know everybody had to travel, but I respect their decision.
Alex, whenever promoters like you and I have issues like this where the night doesn't go the way you expect it to do, we take notes, we make adjustments, just like the race teams do when they don't have the nights they need. What adjustments will be made from the APC side and your talks with Sauble to ensure that we don't find ourselves in this situation again? What could be better? Was it the management of time? Was it the management of cutting the event back, maybe back to 100 laps? What do you do going forward for when we go back in 3 weeks?
Yeah, well, in 3 weeks, the race is 100 laps. So, listen, we were supposed to start at 9:00, and we did. We didn't just guess at that number. We did our homework. We knew how much time previous races took. One thing would be if I could do something different, I'd have 3, 1 oil down instead of 3. But sometimes you have no control over that.
No, for sure.
There wasn't a lot of crashes until the end. There was a lot of small stuff. Joe Lawrence blew up and different things. And hey, it happens. And it's really unfortunate, but we have to live with it.
It is what it is. There's been a lot of question online about the scored finish of the race. So, without reading the rule book, Alex, can you walk us through? So 142 laps were complete. The field was on lap 143 when a crash occurred.
Right. So there is a rule. There's a rule in the rule book that says if any unforeseen circumstances come up, like we're racing and a storm comes in, or in this case, a curfew, anything like that comes into play, the race would be halted and you go back to the last completed lap. Well, in this case, we were not green at the time. Obviously, we're yellow because of a crash. So the first part still stands, but then you go back in the rule book. When there's a yellow, you go back to the last completed lap, except with that lineup, except involved and or penalty cars or cars that pit. So it's really easy because of the circumstances. It was getting late. There's a couple questions. I'll tell you, we do not post-event officiate. You can't get into that habit. People could send you 50,000 videos, but we had your video as a tool. We have, as you know, Clinton and Adam, our officials in the tower and outside the racetrack. There's a few on our team that take notes when a crash happens. Everybody knows that. We just wanted to regroup, make sure with an unforeseen circumstance like this that we followed the rule book. We all had compared our notes and post the right finish. So whenever you have involved cars, you choose, or you make a decision on involved cars or a penalty car or cars, it's never going to be good for everybody. It's no different than football, hockey. When you put the officials in a position to make a call, you may not like it. I can assure you one thing: if the call's on you, you're never going to like it. And that part's unfortunate, and but I mean, for the most part, it's pretty straightforward when you follow the rule book. The finish is really straightforward. A couple decisions may or may not be enjoyed by different people that were involved, but overall, it's pretty simple, and that's why you have that process in place.
Yeah, it's balls and strikes. So I just want to explain and tell me if I'm wrong. Lap 142, the running order had Josh Stoddy in third or whatever, Benedict fourth or second and third, whatever they were, a number of cars behind them. The accident happens, so everyone, and I've seen the officials in the tower that call out who's in the accident, so there's some consensus. So the finish will take all of those cars, involved cars go behind everybody on the lead lap. But the reason that Danny Benedict is so far behind Josh Stoddy is that he was a penalty car. So he not only goes back to where he was, he goes all the way back to the tail end of the lead lap. Those were the questions people had. Well, how can he be 5 spots behind? Well, he can be. Just follow the chain of events.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I had a question from a driver that said, "Why am I behind so and so?" And the other, if let's say there's, I'm just picking a random number here, there's 6 involved cars, and 3 of them pit. Well, now when they come back out, in our case, we didn't get going again, but that was the plan. Even if we weren't, we didn't get going again, obviously, but at that point, it's the involved cars, then the cars behind, that pitted behind them, and then the penalty car. So when you go into the pits, the last completed lap, there's still a process or procedure for that scoring of that last official lap, and there's still people involved, and they still have to get scored with involvement in the wreck.
And I think people, sorry, Clint, I think people needed to hear that, Alex. Like they needed to see you say that and explain how that works, because to watch
I love that the fans are passionate about it. They don't, I don't blame them. They don't read the rule book, and why would they? None of us want to read the rule book, but let's be honest. Teams don't want to read the rule book, but there's times when we have to use it, and in this case, this was one of those times.
Alex, let's talk about, the hometown drama. So you have Josh Stoddy. I think that's why a lot of people kind of maybe they felt that they were hard done by the finish, because it wasn't what we had in the past where Jared Fitzpatrick's led for 100 laps and kicking their ass. We had a knock-em-out fight going on between Stoddy and Steckley there. Stoddy got the lead back. Steckley took it back. They were just starting to really hype things up. Then I'm standing there talking to Sean Gibbs when I finally got the inside word that we weren't going back, and I said, man, they're going to burn this place down. We're going to put the hometown kid to the back and then call the race and tell everybody to go home. So at the end of the day, though, let's talk about the excitement that the series has brewing. You got a lot of good talent. We had some wild action. All 150 laps were nail biters. The crowd was fantastic. So
Yeah.
a lot of positives.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just want to say also, think everybody knows this. These calls aren't personal, that's for sure. You don't want to make any calls, but yeah, you mentioned Stoddy, hometown favorite, ran a hell of a race. How about Andrew Gressel? His
Yeah.
dad's one of the owners. Everybody knows that. Andrew's in the car asking our official, "Who the hell called that?" He thought he had a chance to win still, and his dad is one of the people that had to make the difficult decision. So, uh, yeah, it was great to have Andrew back with us. I know he went down to Berlin this week. He's racing tomorrow night down there, and his initial plan is to come back and run at Sunset with Schrader, and looks like Ricky Walt's going to make an appearance again. So we have great battles. I think now first to fifth is separated by 8 points. There's a tie for the lead. It's crazy.
Wow.
No, it's
Yeah.
just
And
you talked about
that's
tough decisions though, and the one
Yeah.
tough decision I just want to talk about is that Danny Benedict. So there's no doubt that Stoddy went around. He's involved. The question was, did Stoddy chop or did Benedict get him? Right?
Yeah,
We watched this back how many times? I don't have a car in that race. That's a tough call to make from any side. I
Yeah,
challenge the
it
fans
is.
to watch it with an open book and see, can you really make a call on that?
Yeah, it's tough, and I can tell you, we didn't spend 2 days deciding on that call. Like I said, I can tell you, Monday, most of us all got home at 4 in the morning. You guys know what I'm talking about. Monday was a wash, had some family stuff, couldn't get our team together. Or I'm sorry, Sunday. Monday, we got a chance to chat and talk about it and share notes. It's straight. I'm not. It doesn't. It sounds dumb, but to be able to post the results last night, which was the plan, the backside of our website had an issue on the points page, and of course, IT isn't back until today. So that's why it took till today. But we didn't spend 3 days looking at what happened with. I try not to do that because we never post race officiate, like I said earlier. This was just to make sure we made the right call because of the curfew, uh, the lineup process, share our notes, and it was getting late. We just wanted to do the right thing. When you do that, sometimes that's the bad decision. Looking back, maybe we should have just ground it out and made that decision. But we had some internet issues. We couldn't post things. We lost, some different things, and so we decided, just because of the unforeseen circumstances for this, we thought we'd take our time and spend a morning and chat as a group. When we did, then we couldn't post it. And yeah, and listen, at the racetrack, you don't have the ability to look at a big screen and watch a replay 400 times. The race control is busy. People think you stand up there and watch races, but there's a lot going on, as everybody knows. And the consensus for the for our officials that watch and chime in on those things was that the 54 is a penalty car. Hate it for him. Thankfully, he's only 8 points out still, but and I get it. Points are hard to come by, man. This thing's tight. And it's tight, and I get the passion. They're passionate, and I get that. They're every point's important. I totally understand it.
But it's balls and strikes, right? Whether you like
It
the
is
call or
100%.
not, the officials are the officials, and you could argue calls, but what's the point? Everyone will have a different opinion. So, regardless, I think it'll be exciting heading into Sunset. I have two questions for you, Alex. One, do you have any inside information on whether Santa Claus is bringing Joe Lawrence a fresh engine?
I haven't heard. I was going to touch base with Joe tomorrow or Chris and see how they're making out, but hopefully they get something going, because they've had a heck of a season, of course. And I'll just have a quick look, but Joe's only 8 points out after that disappointing night, so it's still anybody's game here.
And the second question, Alvar's asked it, so we might as well present it to you because you're the official. What is the purpose of the halfway break?
So in this case, with these longer races, it's an opportunity not to take tires, except for the 200 at Delaware. We wanted fans asked for some different things, drivers asked for some different things. So we did qualify a little different in these 3 NTN Triple Crown races where we do single car time trials rather than group. The break, because you can't take tires in the first 2 legs of the Triple Crown, we wanted to give people an opportunity to make some adjustments to close that pack back up. If they thought they're iffy on fuel, they had the opportunity to take fuel. So it's just to give them they didn't, again, they don't have to take the break. And I think 7 or 8 chose not to at Sauble. So it's just another wrinkle. And excuse me. If we go 150 straight and somebody's got a tire issue or the car falls off, they're pretty much done for the day. They're riding around for 70 laps or so. So it gives everybody an opportunity to get back in the game and keep that field tight and give everybody a chance to make an adjustment and hopefully the right one.
Alex, the other question, obviously, you always get asked this. People want to know, what's the status of Jukasa as we sit here today?
Yeah, great question. I'm so fortunate to be able to, I guess, be the caretaker of the property. Still general manager, and I take care of the property, keep it as tidy as I can. It's a lot of work, of course, to keep a place up, not looking like it's been sitting for 2 years like it has. So that's very important. The status really has not changed. I think that there's a slight appetite now for the family to possibly look at some potential buyers if they're out there. I say that just because I've been contacted by some people and passed that information along, and it seems like they're willing to listen now, which is great. And I'm sure the whole process, grieving, estates, everything else, there's a lot to it that I'm not, it's none of my business. I'm just making sure I'm taking care of the property. And I'm sure if somebody gets serious about it, I'll probably be one of the first to know.
I don't want to give any false hope, but Sitting Bull Tire is involved at Oshweekend this weekend. So Ryan and his crew are getting involved, and they are showing some interest in racing. So you never know down the line. That
yeah, you never know. Absolutely.
They're also a big part of our next guest, Aaron Turkey, who's going to join us and talk about his NASCAR deal coming up. But Alex, what should the fans know about Sunset other than Ken Schrader coming on? Obviously, getting Rick Spencer-Walt back at home is going to be a good deal. Why should the fans go to Sunset Speedway on Saturday night?
Well, this points battle is unbelievable, like we just talked about. Ricky is he's awesome at Sunset. So is Danny Benedict. An opportunity for him. He showed us, I think, the first round there. You get the top 5, and there's a huge battle that's only a few points apart too, from 6th to 10th. So there's a lot to fight for. There's still a lot. I know we're 6 races in. We got 3 left, but there's still a lot of opportunity for a lot of people. So it's going to be, it's just ramping up, man. It's getting to be the best time of the season for sure. And these guys and girls that are part of our program are professionals, and I put them up against anybody. I tell them that, and they're super at what they do. And I expect you're going to see another dogfight at Sunset, and Schrader's going to be a blast.
I got one for you, Alex. I know Adam's going to want to know. Any talk about mixing with the Maritime crews at all? The prolates down there, have we? I know Adam fantasizes about a mini series between the East and the midsection Ontario here. Has there been any discussion?
Yes.
Oh, there you go, Adam. There's a little nugget for you to chew into. Go ahead, Adam. You must have a follow-up to that.
No, I don't. I just think a big weekend down east, a big weekend at home would be the cat's ass. I think that'd be so cool. There's so much talent down there. There's so much talent here.
Oh, there's so much talent in this country. You're right. And we've definitely had some discussions. The tough part is, how we put it together. But yeah, I mean, you guys will know, obviously, when something breaks or if something breaks, but there's discussions. We'll see where it goes. It's in the infant, real early stages, but definitely interest on both sides. I think that there's some other areas of our country that could be involved. And I think it's a great idea, and there's lots of opportunity.
Awesome. Thanks, Alex.
Alex, Thanks for coming on. I know it, especially when the internet's lit up with opinions. It's not always enjoyable to get
It's
bombarded with
okay.
questions, but it is what it
Yeah,
is.
no, it's great. Like it's happy to answer any question that anybody has at any time. And it's it was a great race. Sauble Speedway is a great host. Can't wait to get back there, and looking forward to Sunset this weekend and finish this thing off at Delaware at the 200. We'll see some announcements about that event coming up here soon too. That's going to be pretty exciting.
Awesome.
Right on.
Thanks, Alex.
Thanks, guys.
See you Saturday. Excited. Don't forget the APC Series kicks back off this Saturday night. Sunset Speedway will be live on GeForce if you can't make it to Innisfil.
So
Adam.
before we move on, I want to, because I know there was a lot more comments and questions, but the reason there's a halfway break in the 150 lap race is because they don't have live pit roads and they don't want them. The same reason NASCAR has gotten away from live pit roads. So if a race went green the whole way, and they know that some cars take on fuel, it's just not fair and it's not safe, because a car can't safely come to the pits under green. And you don't have to like it, Albers. It's just the answer. And for people saying it's fair to give Stoddy and Benedict the same spot, no, bullshit. The official made a call. You don't have to like it. I don't agree with the call. But the call is the call. What? Because it's popular opinion to change it? They said change it? They made a call. Danny got the raw end of the stick. In my opinion, if the person behind is going to get the penalty, they got to jack up the car in front of them. If they're up to the left rear or the driver's door, that's a different thing altogether. But you can't run these choices by popular opinion, because that's not how it goes. You have to have an official, and if you want to throw heat at Alex Nagy and Trevor Hambly or Sean Gibbs, the flagman, go ahead. That's what they're there for. But they made that call, and that's what they saw in their eyes. No, and I get it, Alvers. I totally understand. I think if they had to do it again, to Andy, it's not the right thing. What, like everybody wins? Give them both a ribbon? I think they're both involved cars, so they should have been the front two cars at the tail of the line. They chose that it was a penalty, but whether you like it or not, that's the call.
Yeah, I think it's like you said, Adam. It's balls and strikes. It's the umpire's call. If you're on one team, you like it this way. If you like it the other way, it's different. But obviously, there was an incident. I don't know. It could rage on forever. Did you see the comments by some folks there from the East Coast of Virginia? Said we're diehard fans from the East Coast of Virginia. Watch every week. Want to know if Paul Longboat's getting his car fixed from a couple weeks ago. I think that is super cool. Not to change the subject, but I that's awesome. I want to make sure we got out before it got too farther. Yeah, so I just sent a message to Bone. We'll find out if Paul Longboat's coming back. I'm sure he is. He's a diehard kid from the neighborhood. They're not going nowhere. Let's bring on Aaron Turkey as this, battle rages on about whether it should have been a good one or not. Camrath versus Adam. Oof.
I'm only doing it if there's Jello. I'll wrestle him in Jello, but not in a straight up fight.
How about big puffy mushroom like sumo suits?
Sumo suits?
Yeah.
I love the passion. I don't get me wrong. I love opinions, but that's the thing. You got to give. Like I commented on Joe Chisholm's Facebook post because I like arguing with Joe. Also because it was biased, so I threw in the other side.
Just curious, Andy, how do you think it should have been officiated? As we welcome Aaron Turkey. Aaron, thanks for joining us, man. I know you're busy. You got lots going on, trying to get everything rolling for the big week coming up. Let's talk about all the stuff we've got going on, man. Can we make that big announcement or what? Reveal your new car?
Yeah, we might as well.
All right, so Aaron's got help from Sitting Bull Tire and Nitro 54 did last year. Tell us about your deal, Aaron, as we reveal the new paint scheme. Show it, Spence.
So last year I was with Larry Jackson Racing, which also Matthew Scannell runs the 99 from. This car will be it's owned by Howie Scannell, and him and Matthew have been working hard on it, so I'm very proud to be back in the 99 with them behind the wrenches, and also having Ryan Burnham with Buckdown Boys and Sitting Bull Tire sponsor, as well as Dan Nanny Coke with Nitro 54. I'm very glad to be back behind the wheel once again of this Pinty's car, and having two shots at it is gonna be it should be a good time. 100 laps each night, plus the sprint car. It's gonna be fun.
That was going to be my question, Aaron, is how pumped up are you that you've got two shots? Last year, you won the quick hot lap. What was it called, Clinton? You set the fast time the night before, which was a huge accomplishment. So this year, maybe you'll have that great night one night. Even if you don't have a great night both nights, sure as hell would be nice to see you at the front one of them.
Yeah, I just know having many more laps in these cars this time around, I'm going to be very excited to, push myself a little harder this time and not be as friendly as I was last year. Up to the last 20 laps, I really started driving the cars the way that those guys were driving me the whole race. So I ended up passing at least nine or 10 cars in the last 20 laps there to get back to 13th. So I think going in there, I think as long as I just not give an inch like they do, I guess, and get used to racing door to door, I think we should be in a pretty good position at the end.
So if what I'm hearing is you were elbows down, and now this year you're ready to be elbows up, Aaron. Let's talk about, you got hometown experience there. You'll get better with the car. What's the biggest thing you're trying to do? Is it the aggressiveness, or is there anything else you could bring to the table here?
I think it's just being very consistent with the car. Racing other guys. I know there's going to be a lot of different cars. Like last year, we've seen about 4 or 5 different lines being used at different points of the race. I think just turning really good laps and keeping the tires underneath and keeping the straightaway speed, and most of all, just keeping the car clean the whole race. I think that's going to be the main objective this time around. I got ran into last year and got turned and got smoked in the front left tire. So my steering was very ill handling. So I was very fortunate enough to finish in a good spot at the end. So this time around, I think, play it very smart, especially maybe learn a thing or two in the first night and try to be consistent and, go hard in the second night, and hopefully everything turns out well.
That's a pretty good plan. Aaron, can you take out some of your frustration next week? Because you've had to watch the last couple of sprint car races instead of participating. That's got to be building a fire inside of you, I would think.
Yeah, it has been, sitting out and, I know I'm out of the points, but just getting a chance to watch what the other guys are doing and when they're making the moves to, be consistent, watching, like the race between Dryden and Ryan Turner, how Turner used a different line at a different certain point at the speed, the race to come out on top. So to get to see what the competitors are doing also was a good little recon. And I do have a motor in the car, so I'll be back out Friday, and I'm really looking forward to getting behind the wheel and, trying to make the most of this last little bit here, the race season that's already, almost over.
Aaron, how has becoming a dad changed you? I know, like, Adam and I considered ourselves kids till we had kids. Now you got kids. Talk about how you've had to mature in the past couple of years, and how has that changed you as a race car driver as well?
It's been very positive. I've been very lucky. My life partner there, Madison, she comes from a racing family, and, to have 2 young boys that are looking forward to coming to the racetrack each week and being so open and enjoyed by many of the teams that we come across. It's been nothing but positive, and it's been awesome. I know I'm a very lucky man. And again, too, being out of the car for a couple weeks, I really got to spend a lot of time just being at the racetrack with my young boys and, helping them in the stands and watching the race and, seeing the smiles on their face every week. That's the best part. And when I do get back in the car, Travis is, awesome. He hands me my steering wheel and gives me a fist bump before I go out for the feature. So I'm looking forward to getting back to that on Friday.
That's awesome, man. What have you got a 360 win in you before the end of this season, Aaron?
I hope I got a couple. I'm gonna be, we're we're hoping to come back strong. I rebuilt the car, and the car's back to what it was before the crash. So it's all wrapped and nice and shiny. And, you know, I never thought I'd ever set up a car so much that never moved there for a month. So I think I got, we're hoping we get a good setup here for the slick season and, you know, get some really good finishes.
Right on, Aaron. Congrats on the deal. We're looking forward to it. Like we tell all our guests, help us sell some tickets. Maybe fans watching who haven't bought their tickets or are on the fence about coming out Monday, Tuesday. Why should they come to Wash Weekend on Monday, Tuesday?
I think they should come out because it's going to be a really good show. You know, if you weren't there last year in person and seeing it on Flow Racing, it doesn't, you know, you get, you know, the cameras capture a little bit, but once you're really there and you get to see the live entertainment throughout the whole day that you guys provide, and just the atmosphere of all the race cars, and not only the Pinty's cars, but also the pit area where the sprint cars are, it's a really good buzz. Also, you know, the campsites, everybody out and about. You know, I live right around this corner from the Speedway. So, you know, seeing a few campers out there already, I'm looking forward to seeing the whole field full of campers again. And I really hope so. We get to put on a really good show for all these fans, and it's going to be really good. And you know, we got the 2-seaters too. So I'm hoping at some point, maybe the motorcycle night or a night, I'll be out doing 2-seater rides as well. So hopefully everybody comes and checks it out.
Hey, I got one for
Awesome,
Adam. Before we let you
Yeah.
go, Aaron, you know, Adam and I, over the past couple of years, we've spent a lot more time on TV and through this GeForce platform. We get talked to by a lot more fans on the road. You got any cool stories about, now that you're on Friday Night Thunder every week on the APTN show as a featured driver? We got you on GeForce all the time. You got any cool fan stories about being recognized somewhere other than the racetrack?
Yeah, actually, when I worked out in Sarnia, I was doing fiber for Bell in a neighborhood, and one of the guys that came out, you know, I was telling the guys that I worked with at Acon that I was on I'm on a TV show and whatnot, but nobody really believed me. And then we went by a guy's house and we were talking to him because we were on his lawn, you know, doing a backhoe or whatever. And then he just stopped and, you know, he's like, "Are you a turkey?" And I started laughing, and he's like, "Are you Aaron Turkey?" And then I was like, "Yeah." So, you know, to be, you know, 3 hours from home and have somebody recognize me out of the blue was pretty cool. And I know there's many other times I had people come up to me and tell me how much they love the TV show, or they watch Friday Night Thunder and, you know, also the Speedway on Friday nights. So, I mean, it's really great promotion, and I'm really proud to be in a position where I can help promote and, you know, inspire others to come race or come hang out and, you know, to promote what Glenn's doing here at Schwingen Speedway. So thank you guys again for having me on. It's pretty spectacular, and hopefully I can make not only the dirt community, but the community of Six Nations proud here in these next few days.
I have a feeling you will, Aaron. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Right on, Aaron. As we let Aaron go, let's take one more look at his car. He'll be driving the 99 Sitting Bull Nitro 54 machine at the Pinty Series race Monday, Tuesday, and also, of course, his GSR 68 sprint car for the 360s as part of the Sitting Bull shootout for sprint cars. So excited to have Aaron on the show. What a great ambassador he's been at. We've seen this kid grow up. I think he reminds me more and more of a young Dan Nanakoke. You know, he's got the demeanor of that, trying to be a good guy in the community, do what he can. I think that he's got it right.
Yeah, he's definitely a role model. Clinton, can I back up about 10 minutes? Because something's kind of funny to me.
Yeah.
I agree with Andy. I think Josh should have been put to the back and Danny should have been put to the back, one spot behind him. But my point is, when the officials make a call, you have to respect their call. That's the call they make. I think they're both involved cars. I don't think you pin the blame on one or the other unless you're one of those drivers. Obviously, you're pointing the finger at the other. It's just the way things go. You've got to put up with officials whether you like it or not, or become an official.
Jason and Angela Langley, is there a rule book for the Thunderstocks? Yes. If you go to Ontario Dirt.com, well, why do we need us? Just talk to Wesley Shaw. He's got all the answers. I love you, Wes. We appreciate everything you do. Man, I was just coming out of my mouth and it popped up on the end there. Let's look at, let's go into GP3R. So as we set up Ush Weekend coming up, don't forget super passes for all 5 days, $125 with pit access. All online sales end noon on Friday. So if you want to get your camping ahead of time, want to get your tickets, that doesn't mean ticket sales end. That means your opportunity to buy them online ends. We still have lots of great seats and will on Monday and Tuesday and have camping available. So if you're thinking about coming out, come on down. We'll get you in somewhere and make it work. So
there's no bad place to sit.
No,
like that track truly.
Yeah, you're right. Backstretch, front stretch, even standing room, you're gonna have a great time. There will be seats. I can tell you that. The other thing is you can buy single night pit passes. You can buy single night tickets. We'll have all that for sale. GP3R, Adam, one of the biggest cultural events on the NASCAR Pinty Series schedule. They take over the town. It becomes quite the deal. What a start. Where do you want to go with this? Kevin Lacroix started on social media Thursday, and it didn't even get through 3 corners. Oh boy, did he
called his shot. He was going to win. He was going to win. They're all going to be fighting for second, and Andrew Ranger was not going to finish. So really, he was 50% right. Andrew Ranger did not finish. So,
well, he didn't win either.
There's so much to talk about there because Lacroix is very vocal, and it creates a ton of conversation, and it's very good for the sport. It keeps people engaged. But then what happened on the weekend? Go ahead. Rebut that first.
I was just going to say, now is Lacroix being cocky, egotistical, or half in jest? And this is where kind of some of it gets lost in translation between the English and the French translations, because I'm having to translate all the comments to come back to be part of the jousting session that's going on. But in your opinion, is Kevin trying to be funny? Is he being egotistical? Where's this coming from?
Both. Kevin is very funny. He's a fierce competitor. He's got a great sense of humor, and he doesn't hide behind a screen name. He'll go toe-to-toe with anybody on the internet. I don't know what he's like. I've never seen him in person get into these sarcastic debates, but he talked smack, and then the accident happens. Even within the last 2 hours, Clint, there's still people messaging about what a bonehead he is for making that move. He didn't make a move. We've got the footage that shows him put 2 feet to the floor trying to find brakes, and there were no brakes to be had going into turn 2. A fitting comes off a brake line, you lose the pedal goes to the floor, you've got no brakes. And in the one comment he even made, he's thankful Andrew Ranger was there because it would have been a much worse crash for Kevin. So let's look first, and I want to know, Clinton, if you were calling this race, how would you have announced this wreck and the explanation?
Well, I watched it live. It looked like he made a terrible move and monster trucked him, Show it. It's the Burger Barn video of the week from Grand Prix Trois Rivières, the NASCAR Pinty Series, lap 1, corner 2.
So things are good here. Now watch his legs. Now his right leg has gone over. His left foot put his foot to the floor, and his right foot went over. He must have thought he was on the clutch. Oof.
And that tire barrier saved them both a ton of damage and hurt.
I don't know how I would have called that. I think I would have probably leaned towards that's a bonehead move until I heard an interview, because it's not like a hung throttle. A hung throttle, you can really tell. You're like, okay, you can't blame a driver on that. That one was tough to tell that his brakes failed until you see the in-car and like, yep, his foot's buried and that car is not slowing down.
No offense, Kevin. I thought it was a bonehead move until Adam showed me that video. So it's easy to see there's 2 sides to every story.
But at this point, 48 hours later, people on the internet have to stop. Well, they don't have to, but they should.
They won't.
Right? Like, what? Watch the video, and Kevin will still be Kevin. Like, I don't think this is going to change him much. But, and even he said, drivers, nicely done, Joel, drivers don't make mistakes that bad. There's no, like, you can't possibly monster truck over another car because you misjudged your braking point or you wanted to make an aggressive move. That is a mechanical, and really.
Well, we saw one of them
Going
get
back-
monster trucked at Delaware, and that wasn't a mechanical failure last year. That was a
Yeah,
racing
that's
deal.
true, too.
Show it a few more
Sure
times,
did.
Spence, while we talk about it, please.
See, he backed out of it there. So if his mindset is to back out of it in turn 1, he drove that thing the whole way. He had hands on the wheel.
See, but, and I don't want to play devil's advocate, but just like the Stoddy Benedict deal, you could say, well, you only 2-footed it after you drove into them and realized you were already screwed.
His second foot didn't come in until he was going up in the air.
Yeah, I haven't seen
And
it over
someone
and over.
said to me, show the out of car replay again, Spencer. Someone actually sent me a message and said, well, how do you explain the right wheel not turning? I explained it probably because it was buried in Ranger's roll cage and that's what stopped it. They said the right tire was still turning or not turning. Yeah, it stopped because there's nothing to drive it. It's on the roll cage of the 27. So that doesn't mean he has brakes. It just means the wheel was wedged into the roll cage of the car, so it stopped turning.
How about the season Andrew Rangers had? Everything that could break on that car's broken. Even days like that, when it's none of your own doing, you're just lap 1 and get totaled.
He was upset. Like, he pounded the roof. You want to know how big a deal Three Rivers is? There's people crying and hugging in Cameron's pit because he won. But you see the whole Dumoulin family posing with the trophy for second place. Like, just getting on the podium there is a huge achievement that you bring your whole family into for pictures. And that crowd was massive.
It's that, the oldest street race in North America. That's what gets all the prestige. Kind of like Dirt Week was at the end. 40 plus years of history. You grew up wanting to win it. It just becomes a major deal.
With the exception of turn 3, that's an awesome racetrack. Turn 3 where they have to funnel down to basically single file. Yeah, if that was twice as wide, that track would be as nice as any road course. Not any road course, but a lot of road courses. Just that one. Otherwise, everywhere else around the track, that's pretty badass.
Well, it definitely has that aura. Like, I've never been there, but it's the one place I'm dying to get to on the NASCAR Pinty Series just to check out, the whole atmosphere and the cultural end of it. I think it would be great. So, love to check that out. Where do you want to go from here? So don't forget NASCAR Adash Weekend, big stuff coming up. We will be live Monday night with the heats and the sprint car action right up until the Freshstone Dirt Classic 100 is about to kick off. Same thing on Tuesday. We live, I believe, from probably 6:30 to 9:30 both nights, I would say. And, of course, live this Saturday from sunset.
So the moral of the story with GeForce TV, the reason we do what we do, the reason Clint is out there chasing accidents is because you would have that story. You would know Lacroix had no brakes within 5 minutes of that accident happening. Like, we try to, and I'm not tooting our horn, that's what we designed. We go to the accidents, we talk to the drivers on the spot, we get them while they're still hot. But it puts to bed some of the speculation of, why did this happen, or how did this happen? No, this is what went down. You get the explanation, you get the heartbreak from Ranger. That's why I think what we do matters. That's why I think we're pretty good at it. You're pretty good.
Have a great time doing it too. No, man, you did a great job carrying the show. While we got Joel here, do you realize, like, the people who sent the message the other day on our message board that said Adam Ross is the Antichrist must have been super pissed off if they were stuck watching TSN yesterday, because it was the NASCAR Cup race, and then it was you from Saskatoon, and then it was you and I from the Canadian Dirt Tour from Les RPM. So it was like a good 2.5 hours of Adam Ross on TSN all day. So that was cool. But if you don't get a chance, if you're a dirt fan, check out the Canadian Dirt Tour. It says dirt racing on my guide, but check it out, Canadian Dirt Tour, and that's what the sprint cars are going to be filmed on Monday and Tuesday to be part of that series. Of course, we live on G-Force with it live, but we're going to package up and really show off the sprint cars in a new light. So it's been cool.
So we've got the video from Bowman Gray, do we not?
Yeah, I believe we do.
As a wrestling analogy, you ever watch No Holds Barred matches? Where they always lift up the skirt of the ring and they pull out kendo sticks and tables and chairs. This is what Bowman Gray has basically done. Watch this video, and only at Bowman Gray. But that is the.
I still say it's half set up. It's
100%. That's what I'm saying.
It's the modern day wrestling. We just haven't been able to get them to admit that it's fixed yet.
They fill the joint every week.
Show it, Spencer. This is Burt Myers. So, Burt is standing against the Kawasaki cleanup vehicle there. Let it roll. In the purple suit. Grabs a bucket of Speedy Dry and whoosh. Show it again, Spence. I've got to see it a few times, so I know what's coming.
Dry.
Wow.
Alvers, you know what, Alvers? If you watched more wrestling, maybe you'd be able to relax a little bit. You'd have more love. That
Jamie
was
Dyson.
wild. Like,
I just kept thinking how much of that would have ended up in the motor. Likely none of it because the air filter, but still. Oof. Yeah, that beats a helmet throw, that's for sure. Adam, you brought 2 stories to the table you wanted to discuss this week. Spencer, leave the NASCAR, our weekend NASCAR week up there. I'm going to send you a couple pictures we can throw for a teaser. What do you want to talk about with the Extreme Outlaw Series and the Jimmy Johnson not unanimous?
so the Extreme Outlaw Series, and shoot, what is her name? Avedisian?
You got me there, bud.
Let me pull it up.
Yeah.
Yes. So we get talked about, hey, can you get a female racer on the show? Hey, maybe you should feature this. Maybe you should feature this. The way to get on the show is to do something, be noteworthy, something that we can talk about. But racers are racers. You put a helmet on, I don't care what you are. I don't care what you started as. I don't care what you are now. You're a race car driver. I would love to have these classes come up. If those classes would come north of the border, Clinton, man, oh man, you could get more traction being in Southern Ontario for that kind of action. But that young lady can wheel a race car. And there's a number of female racers in USAC right now, in midget racing, sprint car racing, that just get it done. And I think it's awesome.
Yeah, I think the concern there is, with no real track support, like we could run a 410 sprint race and get 10 360s to help fill that field. When you bring in those classes, you just don't have the help, and if they don't cross the border, they end up with 13 cars. Fans are bummed. We're embarrassed. They're embarrassed. People drop off the tour. It's just a recipe.
We had 3 classes Friday night, 108 race cars in 3 divisions.
Yeah, great job by you on the Memorial Night. We had a lot of cool stuff. Speaking of which, wicked job on the Memorial. We tried something new. It took a bit longer for lights to come back on. I was crapping my pants, but at the end of the day, it still worked out. Show the Alex Riley pic. This is a fireworks picture I just sent you, Spencer. This was a cool pic Dale Callan sent me, and we're going to try and get this. That's a cool shot, man, of Alex Riley with the fireworks behind him. So we're gonna try and time that out to get that picture for Dale every week. That's cool. Let's toss a couple other quick pictures here. Show the Stuart Friesen 19 and the 52. He'll be driving. This came out at 3 o'clock today. This is Stuart Friesen GSR number 19. He'll be driving next Monday, Tuesday. prepared by Like Motorsports, show the GSR 52, who's driving the 52 sprint car for GSR as well. So excited about that. And of course, Jessica Zemkin, Friesen Stewart's wife, back, former Canadian Sprint Car Nationals champion, the only lady to ever get it done, be driving the Hills 67 car. And that's a super good look as well, with Miles Hills Companies and Corpac merchandising on the side. John Brush getting behind there. That is the car that Christopher Bell ran very well in a couple of years ago. So see what Jess can do in the 67. Along with the Aaron Turkey 99, those are the fresh looks we got for you this week. And hope to see everybody Monday, Tuesday. Jimmy Johnson, not unanimous, Adam. Kind of shocking. All the accolades, and I went back and read the article after we spoke today. Crazy to think that, he was not a unanimous decision.
It's not just crazy, Clint. So what we do is we take issues or topics, and quite often we'll take opposite sides on a topic because it's entertaining to go back and forth and banter. But we don't ever want to be bigger than the race. We don't ever want to be bigger than the sport, whatever's going on. Unless I'm wrong, and maybe I better do some more research. Who is the douche nozzle that denied Jimmy Johnson unanimous entry to the NASCAR Hall of Fame? They should have their voting privileges revoked. It's embarrassing. How in what universe does he not get a unanimous nod? And I get some people might believe, that we can't have it unanimous, so I'm going to vote the other way. Bullshit. Someone better step up and say, I made a mistake in my voting, or somebody better be kicked off the panel, because that's such an honor. It's inconceivable that he wasn't a unanimous.
I'm with Richard.
election.
I kind of think it was one of those things that people just thought maybe wasn't his chronological time, like there were other people more deserving, and his time is definitely coming, but it's, we got other people we got to get in. But you look at some of the stats, 7 championships, tied Richard Petty and Dale Earnhardt. That alone should put you at the elite of everybody else. The first 5 were consecutive. All-time winningest driver at 5 tracks, including Auto Club Charlotte, Dover, Vegas, and Texas. In addition to that, won the Driver of the Year 5 times and was the first racing driver ever to win the Associated Press Male Athlete, and he had 83 total Cup wins, which is, a heck of a resume.
My argument, right? It's not for the journalist's place. It's not for the voter's place to say, no, he's still active. If he's eligible for the Hall of Fame, that's somebody else who makes that determination. It's like a strike zone. The strike zone is this area, and that's what it is. You call within it. If he was up for the Hall of Fame, then you vote him into the Hall of Fame. You take me with, I've got personal opinions about everything. You put that aside and you do the right thing. But if he was on the ballot, and Richard, I agree with you thinking that, but I don't agree. Once he's on the ballot, your opinion doesn't matter anymore because he's made all the requirements. Put him in.
I can't disagree with that. What else do we have? Wes Shaw. Will Freshstone and Pinty's have a booth set up? I met with the Freshstone folks today. They will be out doing some product activations and some sampling of some Tiffany Gate fresh gourmet pasta salads. We'll have some samples out. We will also have the Freshstone fan zone with the stage, the big screen, and a bit of a car show on display. Some cars there too. The other thing is we'll be rolling out a brand new product from Freshstone, Dip a Chip. So make sure you stop by the pit concession on Monday and check it out. Grab a sample. It's not just for chips. You can dip your nuggets in them. You can dip your Pinty's wings in them. You can dip your onion rings, your French fries. Give it a shot. They'll have a few flavors on display, so check it out. That's new. Dip a Chip, and watch for their commercials coming here on G-Force in the coming weeks, probably as soon as Monday. So we're proud to do that. Adam, they said come up with the contest. So we need to figure out what we're going to do for Dip a Chip for Monday to have some fun with that. But we can have some chips and dip at sunset and talk about how we're going to promote it.
I will wrestle Andy Camrath in chip dip.
See, you better watch what you say, because that could happen.
That's disgusting.
Andy Camrath, chipped it. Well, yeah, let's not ruin their new activation plans by doing that
No.
right off the bat.
No,
yeah.
for sure. So that Sean's Garage Gregson, I thought Legacy came out and said that wasn't true. It got leaked out that he'd been released, but he hasn't been released. But maybe in the next day or two he will be released. Who knows? Yeah, Omaha.
Fran's asking when's the next episode of Race Chat. So we will be live next Tuesday during the Pinty's event, and it'll be right after qualifying. So if you guys all tune in next 8 o'clock, you get a peek at the live action going on Rush Weekend. So we'll be live there. Maybe we'll have some Race Chat elements into that half an hour to hour time we've got as we run the sprint car stuff. But either way, join us next week. Fran, after that, we're off for a week, so it will be the following Tuesday. Anything else?
And I just want to thank everyone who gives their opinions, Clinton, especially those who don't mind being disagreed with and going back and forth. And, it's what makes this fun. Because on social media, there's a lot of nonsense and it gets more and more carried away. I like to think we get to the edge, we get to the line, and aside from last Tuesday, we usually don't cross it. So it's healthy.
Like I said, I love you like a brother. We're going to fight once in a while. We do get along. For all of you who don't believe it, Adam's my rock, whether I need it or not sometimes, so I appreciate it.
Dragging you to the bottom of the lake.
We've learned to annoy each other less and less in our old age, but I appreciate that. I can tell you, hey man, I'm stressing out today, and we don't pile on. We try and uplift each other, and that's what families do. We appreciate it. Great speech on Friday. If you didn't catch Adam's speech about Memorial Night, Irish Weekend, it was great. Hopefully everybody enjoyed the Noah's Dash. We learn stuff every year too, and we'll make that better going forward. I think that's it for Race Chat for this week. Come and see us Irish Weekend. Big event starting Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. If you can't be at the bike Saturday, make sure you get at the sunset. If you can't be there, we'll be live as much as we can from Friday to Tuesday. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Spencer. Thank you, Adam.
Cheers. Thank you.